Instagram teen accounts have automatic protections for what teens see and who can contact them, plus time management tools. And Instagram will continue adding built-in safety features to help create age-appropriate experiences. Learn more about teen accounts and Instagram's ongoing work to protect teens online at instagram.com/teenaccounts.
Cafe quality brews without a barista? That's the Ninja Luxe Cafe. Yep, no skills needed. Rich espresso, balanced drip coffee, rapid cold brew, all made by you. Because Barista Assist technology handles the details. Grinding, weighing, brewing, so you don't have to. Finished with silky microfoam made with dairy or plant-based milk. Hot or cold, hands-free. Still no skills needed. From first-timer to full-blown coffee fan, you can brew it all with the Ninja Luxe Cafe. Shop now.
With Car Guru's Discover, you can skip the filters and describe what you're looking for in your own words. Simply type what you want, and Car Guru's Discover instantly surfaces real listings that match your exact needs. It's no wonder Car Gurus is the #1 most visited car shopping site according to SimilarWeb's estimated traffic data. Buy or sell your next car today with Car Gurus at cargurus.com. Go to cargurus.com to make sure your big deal is the best deal. That's cargurus.com. cargurus.com.
This week on Sosbans and Sidesteps is the Scarlets season over as we review their game up in Edinburgh. Another fantastic win for Brython Thunder. The streak goes on. A rundown of the community game. And just join us for a laugh. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Sosbans and Sidesteps podcast. Joining me, Big M, as always, the one and only Mr. HG Rugby, Hugh Griffin, and fully blown Jonathan. Oh, new John now. He's new John now. It's new John. Good evening, my friends. How are we?
I think it should be John Newith.
John Newith. I can be John Newith.
But I'd have to reintroduce you and start the podcast all over. No, you'll have to wait till next time to for a full introduction.
Mm-hmm. How are you doing, Matt?
I'm all right, boys. I'm all right. Yourself?
I'm okay.
Good. Had a good weekend. A lot of beer taken. A lot of music enjoyed. Very little rugby scene, but enough rugby to partake tonight.
Enough rugby to go on a rugby podcast and talk about rugby.
I think so.
Just enough. So, John Newith, no need to reintroduce. In brackets.
Well, you've done it now, haven't you? That's.
I mean, there's no gap in John Newith, so that's a long ass fucking name, but fair play.
Doing my best. What did you get up to on the weekend, Matt?
On the weekend, not real much. Went to watch Edinburgh Scarlets and met a few fans of the podcast. So I'm terrible with names, and so I apologize now. So shouted to the guy who was next to me. Believe he said he lived up in Elgin, which is, a little bit further north than Inverness. So, he's traveling like well over 2-3 hours to get to this game. So, well done to you. And another guy who said he was from Glasgow as well. I bumped into quite a few Scarlets up here and not a single one lived in Wales. They were all Scottish based. So we've got a good contingent up here, to be fair. No. Yeah,
well, Pringle was telling us the story. He was on a cruise because he's international Pringle, obviously, and he's met a South African. There was a guy on the cruise wearing a Scarlets jersey. He's gone over to chat to him, and he was South African. He's never even been to Wales.
Yeah, were these folks with you? Were these folks with you like originally from Wales, or were they all Scots?
I can't account for everyone. The two that I've mentioned definitely were because they still had the Welsh accent. You could still hear it. But it's just great to see that, one, we had such a good turnout. And two, it doesn't matter where you go, you take the Scarlets with you. It doesn't leave you, which is, absolutely brilliant. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm all for supporting your local club or whatever, but, your main team stays with you forever.
Well, didn't John Newith bump into some Scarlets fans in Germany?
Oh, yes, he Did we talk about this? Mardi Gras, wasn't it?
This was, yeah, so I was at the German equivalent of Mardi Gras, which I have to say is called Carnival. If I call it German Mardi Gras and a German person hears this, I will be chased out of the country. And yeah, we my wife and I were both out. So it's fancy dress, so you're encouraged to dress in something red because that's the local colors. And so I went for
So
a
it's
slightly
it's a
darker.
Scarlets tribute festival, basically.
It's a Scarlets tribute festival, except most people are dressed as clowns, and we dressed. So we went in full kit down the road with said ball, and we passing it around, passing it to people in the crowd, teaching some people how to kick. They could kick better than me almost instantly, which is good. I'm a better trainer apparently than I am a kicker, and which is not a high bar to be fair. But yeah, and we met a few people around who recognized the brand, and then in the evening we were at a gig, and these two people were like, "Oh yeah, we're massive Scarlets fan and Wales fans, but primarily Scarlets fans." And we were talking to the wee hours about it, and I'm really sorry now because I did tell you to listen to the pod, and I can't remember your names. I'm very, very sorry about that. But they were of the opinion that Eddie James should have been playing 10 instead of Hawkins over the Christmas period. But after watching this game, I'm of the opinion that Joe Roberts should have been playing 10 instead of Joe Hawkins. So I don't know, but yeah, everyone's all over the place. You just need to wear a jersey out and about. I'm going on holiday this weekend, and I will be packing all my jerseys just in case.
Yeah, well, make sure you don't take none of the cotton jerseys. You've got to keep a synthetic one. It's going to be hot where you're going.
Yeah, I need to be sweating. It needs to be soaked through within 5 minutes.
No, it needs to be a pro jersey, just so it can aerate your skin at the same time.
That's it.
No, it was a great experience going to the game. The atmosphere at the Hive is brilliant.
Is it a nice stadium?
It's a glorified training ground.
Right.
It is literally just popped up stands.
On the photo that you sent, I did see like the wood chippings around the edge. I was like, oh, okay. There's that kind of a deal.
What I can say is it doesn't matter where you sit in the ground, your view will be obstructed by at least 20 pillars. Like,
I saw the pillars. I was like, what's going on with them?
It was literally like I was about 10 meters from the try line. So, 15 meters like on the side of the pitch, I've got to say. So, the big screen was right by me where Joe Roberts scored. So it was about 15 meters away from me. I had 4 pillars in my way to see that screen. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's not a great ground for actually watching rugby. I'd be surprised if any of the coaches were looking at the field. They would have probably been looking straight at the laptops for every second of that game, because there's no way you can properly watch what's going on, especially if the play goes more than 10 meters.
It looks nice on telly, but obviously, I did, because I was doing some research into stadium redevelopments in rugby, and I think that one in today's money cost them 7 million to build.
I'll be honest, they seem like temporary stands. Like probably literally,
they are temporary. I think, yeah.
There's literally just steps to get up down from the like it is so open. Like, don't get me wrong, where it is location wise, obviously it works perfectly. It's right next to Murrayfield, so it's got all the links there ready. The food offerings there, bloody brilliant. Like literally, fish and chips, pizza, hot dogs, burgers, everything. I think I could see absolutely everything.
You try one of everything?
Yeah, which was your favorite?
I wanted to. I had my 3 little girls in me, so had to go with the general consensus. And the general consensus at first was hot dogs, but they don't do any traditional hot dogs. They only do pork and haggis or stuff like that, which I would have loved a pork and haggis hot dog.
Pork and so just like a nice sausage that's a blend of pork and haggis.
That's what I think.
Not a sausage with haggis sprinkled on top of it.
That's what I was thinking. Just like a Frankfurter, and instead of crispy onions, just crispy haggis sprinkled over the top.
I didn't get close enough to see what they actually look like, so I'm assuming it's all wrapped into one nice sausage skin. But we ended up over with the fish, and fish is good. Fair play, little bit too crispy, but stunning. Donuts here as well. Gotta love a donut. Oof, like sugar ring donuts, like at the fairground. Awesome. Not as good as a crepe. Obviously, crazy crepes. Awesome. But, donuts, they did a good second.
And you've now joined the noble fraternity of people who have gone to Scarlets away games in the 25-26 calendar or the 25-26 season and seen us lose.
Yes.
I've done that twice.
I do tell you one thing that's good about the Hive is the way it's set up. Obviously, the players leave through behind one of the posts, and they've got to go from the Hive over to Murrayfield.
Yeah.
Changing rooms. So they set up 2 barriers right behind there, so you can you all stand there and just watch and talk to the players as they come through. There was a thing on the URC of Holly Davidson because she was running the line. First seeing all the fans, you can just see my missus' hat at the back of the very, very last clip of that, the little yellow hat right in the mid corner. If you fancy having a look,
No, get a photo with Holly.
Oh no, you couldn't get to the front of the line, man. No chance. It was rammed. Like literally, you have to be in that stand to have a chance of get in front and center. But it was pretty funny. You had this group of teenage boys literally down the bottom of every player that comes past. Oh, can I have your shirt? It's my birthday. There's all different stuff like that. It was awesome to see and hear. I think what's his name? I can't remember his first name. Sykes, the Edinburgh lock. Someone asked him to sign something but didn't have a pen. He went searching everywhere for a pen and couldn't find one. So, fair play to the lad. He went looking. Like he like crossed the sides, he went back up and down. So that's what you like to see. Obviously, a lot of Scarlets boys walking past. Yeah, that's really good to see.
That's what I've always liked the look of with the Hive, is that it feels almost like an oversized community stadium. It looks like a community ground.
It is. I think it's like half the site, like half the capacity in the park. It's something like 7,500, 8,000. It's really not that much. So it does have that community ground field which I do like, but the pillars just ruin it. And there's just, I'll be honest, I'm not a structural engineer, I'm not an architect, but surely you can get rid of 2/3 to 3/4 of these pillars. Like it is ridiculous.
Yeah. Maybe.
maybe.
Architects, if you know an answer for the Hive's problem, are you an architect? Are you a structural engineer? Write into us at pillarsbegone@gmail.co.uk.
Yes, start using Hive as your dissertation, so we can figure things out and we can find a nice cheap way to deal with it.
Can I ask the people to help with my jersey mystery?
Oh yes, you can.
So I've been buying more jerseys. I bought a 2017 title-winning jersey as well, which I'm wearing now. We're not going to talk about that. I got this jersey, which we have whittled down to being the 2008-2009 jersey from Cougar. I'm showing for audio listeners. I'm showing the camera. It's a lovely
jersey.
It's the nice white jersey. Red sleeves.
It was very, very cheap on Vinted, and whenever I hold these jerseys up to show the camera, I get it right under my nose and I can smell it. They all have the same kind of been in a cupboard for an awfully long time somehow.
It also looks like you're holding it up in the mirror to see how it would look on you, like you're trying it on in the shop.
We're pretty sure it's 2008, 2009. We think it's some kind of special edition because the regular home jersey, according to Google, was just red. Whereas this one has white sleeves and navy detailing.
So show the back as well, because the back is the bit that I thought was really. You got the blue collar, you've got the blue lines on the wings.
Yeah, it's 100% got to be a European jersey,
and it 100%. has to be. It has to be that season as well.
It has to be a 2000. It can go either way. A 2008. We think it's the latter, but
yeah, we think it's 8. I'm pretty sure it's 8-9.
Pretty sure it's 8-9.
But we don't know what the special edition of itness was. So if you know, write in and tell us.
If you're a structural engineer and you have an understanding.
And to further our kit talk, we have since learned the chocolate quarters that we showed last week was in reference to our 1883-84 season, which we started the year with the chocolate quarters, and then it was the Easter weekend of 1884 that we wore full Scarlet for the first time.
Because someone was looking at the chocolate quarters going, we've got to be able to come up with something better than this, boys. We can't spend our entire lives watching a rugby team playing in chocolate quarters. For God's sake, someone come up with an idea.
But the irony of getting rid of the chocolate on Easter, of all of the times to get rid of it, when there's Easter eggs and all about switching to Scarlet, then still glad they did. I wouldn't want to be the continuation of the the Connectly chocolate boxes. So
No.
Okay, so I think we've gone on a bit long enough for this right now. So there was some rugby on the weekend, but before we get into Scarlets, let's talk about Brython Thunder. Mr. Who, do you want to give us a rundown?
Oh, they're so good all of a sudden after having been really not that good for quite a long time. They're suddenly amazing. So they went up to Scotland and they went to Glasgow and they absolutely thrashed them. The final score 32-10. And when you consider that, God bless her, Hannah Marshall has missed the vast majority of the conversions, you realize just how much of a thrashing that is. Glasgow kicked a 3 at one point. That was weird. But yeah, complete battering. Played some nice rugby, scored some nice tries, plenty of nice tries. It's our biggest win of the season. We've now won if either 4 in a row or 3 of our last or 4 of our last 5. And star players all over the pitch. I'll bring up the team sheet in a minute, but I just want to focus on Sarah and Lockwood for a second. I'm a big Kira Bevan fan. Always have been, always will be. Mark, correct me. Is Kira Bevan a Scarlets girl?
I'm going to say potentially yes, because I need to look at that.
I know that Fionn Lewis is a Scarlets girl.
Yeah.
But anyway, Sarah and Lockwood, player of the season, she's been absolutely excellent. You don't see nines do this very often in the women's game. Snipes like that. Love watching her. Seren Singleton, I think it is on the wing as well. Loving watching her play. If I bring up the team sheet, basically just pick as many Serens as you can. But the team sheet, so there has been quite a lot of churn in the team, which is kind of a bit, you are wondering how much is it that things have been improved and how much of it is down to Ashley Beck improving the team and how much of it is they just brought in a load of PWR players. So you got Lisa Neumann at fullback, Morley Wilkinson and Courtney Keats. In the centres, obviously Hannah Marshall, like I said, starting at 10. You got the 2 Serens at 9 and 11, respectively. Into the pack, you've got Gwen Crabb and Natalia John in the second row. Kate Williams at 6. Branwen Metcalf at 8. And it's just a bit more star power. Now, to be fair, we did have Cecilia Tuipolotto in the team at one point in the season when we were getting thumped. But just really happy. And now we're into 4th in the league, which is in the playoffs. And guess who we're playing next? We're playing Gwalia Lightning at the park.
Whoop, whoop. Final game of the season, isn't it?
Final game of the regular season. And if we win that, I don't think we can go above them because of points difference. Because I think we've got to beat them by 40 points to go above them.
Simple. Easily done. Done.
Gwalia, having started the season very strongly, are having a bit of a struggle at the moment. So I think they're there for the taking. And I'm looking forward to this.
They did lose to the Wolfhounds by 45 points. So
who loses to the Wolfhounds? Who even does that? Embarrassing.
It's so old-fashioned. So old hat. So,
Never catch my team doing that.
So, I'll be honest. I do think we'd overtake them because surely the tiebreakers would start with games 1 and we would have won 5 and they would have won 4. So I don't think points difference should come into it. We get a 5-0 win.
We should move over. Excellent question.
And that means go into Clovers to beat them again.
Yeah. Have we beaten the Clovers? I don't think we have. But
yeah, we did. We beat them 14-5, didn't we?
No, we beat Wolfhounds 14-0.
Didn't we beat?
We lost to Clovers in Ireland 12-29. And I don't know, in the park by 3 points. We lost to them by 3 points in the park.
And we got a lot better since then. So we probably are
very, very possible.
I was thinking about the Edinburgh game.
But they're on 5 straight wins. Although we beat Gwalia, we're on 5 straight wins as well. So
exactly.
Boom.
All to play for.
Do we know where the semi-finals are? They're going to be home team.
I believe they're in Scotland.
Ooh, neutral. Ooh.
Yeah, because neither Scottish team is qualifying. Bless them. Anyway, so.
Oh yeah, because I know the finals in at Hive, which hopefully
it's saying here the finals are in the Hive. The semi-finals it says are in Dexcom, so that's Connacht
Island. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
Good for
shame.
Connacht to get that. They get the new stadium in, and then they get the semis for that.
I'm
That's
sorry, I was wrong.
good for them.
Yeah, well, we'll get a chance. That'll be the same week. Is it the same weekend? No, weekend after.
But yeah,
You
get that.
mean yeah.
We are out in Connacht on the 13th. The semi-finals of the 21st.
But anyway, if you fancy watching a Welsh derby at the park on Saturday, 2:00 kickoff, go and support the Thunder taking on Gwalior. Get and up the Thunder, basically.
Boom. Okay, now that's done and dusted. On to the not quite the main event. We're not on the community yet. So Edinburgh against Scarlets. Now, from what I can tell you in the ground, and I think we've seen on socials as well, is a lot of Edinburgh fans think they were very, very lucky to have won that game. And honestly, they were. I mean, don't get me wrong, we had our chances. We could have put the game to bed earlier. But, 3 of their tries came from our kicks, sorry. So I think one of them was a Gary Owen that went just a little bit too far. Next one was the ball bounced awkwardly for the Edinburgh fullback. Jack Davis was there to collect it. I believe it was Jack Davis at least. And the ball bounced. Tommy was there. And then the ball bounced awkwardly for him. And Edinburgh countered. And then obviously the last one was the charge down on CLJ for their final try. So ultimately, Edinburgh didn't really create much from structured play, and our defense more than held out. It is a shame, given that we scored some nice tries. And honestly, I don't know, I haven't watched the game back on TV yet. I do plan on getting around to it at some point. But what is the consensus on Sam Lowsey's try? Because for me in the ground, I was trying to see what I could on the screen, and I couldn't see the ball be grounded. So I can't see when the ball was grounded. So I can't see if he is in touch or not. He probably is in touch, but under the rules, I didn't think they could, disallow it.
I think he probably is in touch because if you look, the corner flag is bent over.
But that doesn't mean anything. If you can bend the corner flag, you can touch it as much as you want now.
Yeah, but that just means part of him's touching the touchline. But I obviously, being completely unbiased, thought that it was a try. And if anything, they should have awarded us 10 points for it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, under the laws, it had to be given, but I really don't think he scored that one. John Newydd, you're awfully quiet, my friend.
It's I thought, well, the first thing I was going to say was I think you could see about as much in the ground as we could see on the TV or the TMO could see. It really wasn't clear. Once they give a try, you can't really, there wasn't enough evidence to overturn it there. I'm on the side that I probably think they happen in the same moment, but you just don't have a clear picture. So if I hadn't awarded anything and then I was looking at the footage, I would give no try personally. But I don't think you can complain too much about that part of the officiating, because I think it was, once you've given the try, you've kind of put yourself in the corner already.
Yeah, that was nice. A major decision. Yeah,
the build up.
If we hadn't scored, it would have been absolutely butchered because it was a massive try scoring opportunity. So we absolutely had to convert it.
And we converted from the touchline as well. Cracking conversion that one was.
I thought those 2 kicks that he had for those conversions, because we've seen for him in for Carwyn Leggett-Jones now in the under-20s as well, and in the Benetton game, he's had really good range. But the angles that he had to work with there haven't always been kind to him. No. But with still weather in Edinburgh there, as hard an angle as you're going to get on a rugby pitch, I thought he was fantastic with them.
And you've got to think he's a right footer, so that was the wrong side for him. Well, all I'm going to say, it's amazing, what you can do when you can see the posts.
When there's actual visibility. Also, I got this. Carwyn Leggett-Jones, 2 starts for the Scarlets, 4 try assists. Okay. 2 against Benetton, 2 in this game.
So I know we did get that try assist for both of Robert's tries, but the first one, I think it's a bit thingy calling a try assist when
he passed him the ball and he scored a try. It's a try assist.
Was he 65 meters out or whatever?
Yeah, but he's only beat one guy. I don't know where the Edinburgh fullback was. But
I mean,
he's obviously on holiday for that time. He was on a tea break. But he only had Joe just dummies one player, and it's try time from 60 meters out.
It is
Good
brilliant
wheels.
work from Joe. Yeah, that's obviously that's something that was a concern with Joe a few years back when we had his first injury to his knee and then his second one. Because obviously, if we go back a little bit further, Steph Hughes, at the time in under 20s, he looked like he might be able to actually compete, regularly with Foxy, even potentially get up to international level. But he had his ACL injury and it just obliterated his pace. And that kind of killed any chance of him becoming an international, which is a shame because he was a terrific player. But thankfully we haven't seen that with Joe. He's still got the wheels, he can still go. And it doesn't matter whether it's at 12 or 13 now. Obviously, as visual watchers will be able to see, this is Joe Roberts' first game playing at 12.
Yeah,
and he did a good job.
Yeah. I think he played well. He scored 2 tries. I think he played well. People remarking on how well he played. It was a great pass. Trying to rob Cowan Leggett Jones with this try assist. Absolutely disgraceful. But
on the assist, I think he holds the ball just long enough to fix his man in front of him. He has eyes forward. He sells the run really, really well, and then he gets that pass quickly.
Yeah, it's a great pass.
Yeah, anyway. And it's just enough. He holds it just enough time. It's great.
Yeah.
Tommy Lewis as well. He holds his line really nicely. Fixes you were asking where's the fullback? He's jamming in hard on Lewis, running in.
Joe Roberts, 80 minutes, 77 meters, which is most of anybody. 5 passes, 5 defenders beaten, most of anybody. 2 line breaks, most of anybody. 2 tries, 1 kick, 1 offload, 1 turnover, 1-1. Quick line out throw and 0 penalties conceded. And not conceding a penalty is noteworthy if you're a Scarlets. So, yeah, what do we think of just him? What's happened with Johnny W? Was he injured? Do we know?
Yeah, he was injured for this game. He was in the excuses list at the on the news announcement.
Okay.
No, I didn't check the excuses. Now I've got something else I've got to go into quickly. Honestly, I was really impressed by Joe. I feel like we know he's a quality player. I feel like they used him quite a bit at first receiver off set piece. That was a bit of a surprise. I didn't expect to see him do that.
I think that's just if you're playing 12 for us, you have to do that. I don't necessarily think that was a Joe thing. I think that's just a 12 thing.
Yeah, but I realized when I was watching it that I felt, especially when there were a couple of times off set piece where Cowan Leggett Jones was first receiver, then it went out to Joe. He kicked one of them, he chose run on another, and he passed another one, I think. And I realized in that moment, I was like, oh, we were talking about who's the 10 cover for this game. I think Joe was meant to be the 10 cover for this game. Like, I don't know. I felt like he was pretty handy when he was put in that first or second receiving position. And like you say, that's just how we use our 12s. It is. It's just a string to his bow that I wasn't expecting to see, that I was really pleasantly surprised by.
Yeah. But it's one of his best games of the season. I really enjoyed watching him. And then someone else who I really enjoyed watching was this guy, Captain Josh. 18 minutes, 29 meters, 11 out of 12 tackles, 9 carries, 8 passes, 4 turnovers, 1. And some of those were literally try savers. 2 line out takes, 1 offload, 1 defender beaten, and 0 penalties conceded. Again, he's just great. I don't understand why people don't understand how great he is. It drives me mad when I see people saying there's no out and out sevens in the Wales squad. Like, what? What?
I'm surprised it's only 4 turnovers that are there. It felt like he had 7, 8, or 9. He was absolutely everywhere.
He was maddening. Like, even in the ground, it felt like he was responsible for absolutely everything.
Yeah, and again, and there were moments where the whistle went, and I couldn't really tell what happened. And then suddenly, Josh McLeod just stands. A red scrum cap just floats up like a shark's fin above the water, and he's just got the ball in one hand. You're like, where did you even come from? I have to rewind and go back and try and find him entering the ruck. He, like, absolutely everywhere. And generally, I thought all of our forwards stood up really, really well in this game, especially in the set piece. Scrum was tough. The line-out looked fantastic.
Well, the line-out was brilliant. That was like we had Vivita back. We were, I think, 4 line-outs we stole off them.
Yeah, Max Douglas was an absolute beast in this game for that.
Yeah. Mark, what happened with the scrum? Because we were on the wrong side of the referee's calls. Kems didn't last long in the match.
Honestly, I do need to watch it back from this angle to see what was happening. But from what I could see in the first half, and you may even hear me on TV shouting at Holly for this, but you can see the Edinburgh tight head binding on Kem's arm, and he really struggled. Obviously, Darcy Ray wasn't it? Played 3 for Edinburgh. No, he is.
Mhm.
He is a top quality scrummager. Not saying anything against that, but Kems probably should have worked him out a little bit quicker. Trying to get it sorted. I don't know. Darcy just made it really uncomfortable for Kems. There was one penalty where Kems clearly, and I mean it clear as day, he hinged, and we got the penalty. So I weren't complaining about that, not for a single second. But it was a tough day at the office. I can't really explain it properly without looking back on it.
First choice pack as well.
From what was a bit clearer on the TV footage was Venter he was under Henry Thomas the majority of the time, and it really felt like that's where a lot of the popping up was coming from. He had a really solid position, and he wasn't getting pinged until they started collapsing on a pre-engage.
There was one where Edinburgh stood up and they got the penalty.
Yeah,
and I was like, Dave stood up. It's a penalty to us. So
yeah, there was a few of them, and more often than not, they should be resets. It's quite difficult to say who's responsible for that. You get some players that just drive exceedingly low and upwards. Well, obviously, you gotta drive straight. It's just basic things. It's going to come. It would definitely come under scrutiny today. And Elias is our strongest scrummaging hooker, but he doesn't make that much of a difference in this game. Like to say that the scrum would have gone a different way, would have been better. Probably maybe 1 or 2 penalties don't get given up, but other than that, there's not a massive difference being made.
But we had 3 locks in the pack, so that was a bit worrying. We're quite chipper considering we lost. The thing that really annoyed me after this game was I was like, Edinburgh aren't good. I didn't think that they played well. I can see why Edinburgh fans are so fed up with this team, especially in the first half. I was watching them when they had the ball. I was like, it's such dull rugby. I thought we were way more exciting ball in hands. Yet we lost. And so I was like, what have we done to lose this game? I can't, because I don't think we were the worst team. Was it just they scored 2 tries after half time, and it's still the biggest problem that we've had all year is that we are 12 rounds into the URC and we still haven't registered a try bonus point. We cannot score more than 3 tries in a game. Yikes. For whatever reason. And both against Benetton and in this game, we were going for the 4th try, and we got held up over the line. And then that was our last chance in the game. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, I think that's about as far as we can go. Is ridiculously frustrating, especially when you look at the attacking talent that we do have. Like our back line, even in this game, considering we've lost 6 backline players to Wales, and what we still put out is absolutely ridiculous. Strength-wise, obviously, I think a lot of it will come back to the kick-in, and the fact that 3 tries of Edinburgh's tries did come from that. That's not to say Karen Leggett is responsible for that, or that a different 10 wouldn't have made it. For their first try, that guy, I was calling for him to do it in the stands. It was 100% the right decision. Just the execution slightly off, and I don't know if it was our scramble defense or what. They just once that ball went free, went a bit wild. We really, really struggled, and I don't know if that's down to maybe communication between the back line. Maybe obviously Joe Roberts' first game at 12, Max at 13. That's not a partnership that's ever been done. Even though this was Roberts' first game at 12, this is the first game he's played with Max Page outside him, or even inside him, we should say. So that's a massive one, to adjust to him. We know Page, his strengths at 13, it isn't his defense as of yet. He does a great job, but it's not quite up here to where even Eddie is right now, never mind where Joe is.
When you think of the 9, 10, 12, 13, it was Archie, who was the oldest one at 22, apart from Joe. And then you got Carwyn, who's obviously 18. I nearly said 12 then, 18. And then you got Max, who's 21.
Yeah.
It
Crazy.
is ridiculous.
It's really exciting to think that the majority of that backline can be our second choice backline next season. Realistically, it depends on where you think Archie is going to stay in the rotation going into next season.
Archie's number one for me, clearly number one.
Yeah,
I think he's number one. I think he was absolutely outstanding in this game, but I think you could see Archie going into. I'd like to see Archie starting potentially and see Gareth Davis coming off the bench with Carwyn Leggett-Jones at some point. But I just think it's really exciting that there's so much youth behind the pack at the moment for us.
Was that a mistake not having Caldor on the bench?
I think that was a mistake. Yeah, if it was a home game, not much of an issue. But when you're away, you want that extra leadership. But not to say that Dane didn't do his job when he came on. I thought Dane, was
Dane didn't kick though. Dane only one kick since he came on. For me, I would have left Archie on. When they took Archie off, I didn't really understand why they took him off.
I would have left Archie on, although I was pleasantly surprised with Dane's service when he came on. Yeah, tactically he wasn't as good. I feel like Archie was really looking to get any advantage outside of his pass that he possibly could. He was looking for quick taps. There were a couple of times he was looking. I mean, he had one chip come off. He tried a Gareth Davis style banana kick at one point, which didn't come off. That was charged down. But he was industrious. He was looking for any edge he could bring the team, and we got into the 22 solely from his actions at I think 2 or 3 times. I think 2 chips and a tap and go, and that is the sort of, when I saw how many 22 entries we had in this game, I was like, I didn't feel like we were there so often. We generally, the attack stumbled after we got there, but he is getting us into those positions, and I think there's a lot of analysis to be done on what did we do once we reached those positions. But he was starting him seems to be worth at least 5 or 6 22 entries in itself.
Mm.
Yeah. He does cut those lines really well, and that's on the list of him. I do have to slightly mention he has had a birthday since we've last played, so he's now 23.
Oh,
old man.
He's now so basically, in the summer now he'll finally stop being an academy player. He can finally be called a first team player. He's a full pro, even though he's got a contract now. He's full pro age in the summer, so that's nice for him.
Good.
So are we saying we're quite satisfied with the performance, even though we've lost? I mean, if you're talking about the review on Monday, what the coach is saying went wrong, they're saying a couple of transitions we didn't handle. So that's a bit of scenario in training. There's we got held up over the line again. So what's his name? Albert Vandenberg is working on crossing the line from pick and goes, and don't get charged down, Carwyn. That's it, really, isn't it?
Yeah, more or less. Probably a bit more work with whoever it is, whether it's Jared or Dwayne, on the attack, on trying to become more clinical. Because the amount of 22 entries we had against this Edinburgh, it's not too far-fetched to say we should have been, striking at least a try every other, if not 3 tries from 4 entries. That's
I thought you were going to say we should get at least a try every entry.
at least one.
At least one per entry.
Well, on that, I'll tell you 2 reasons why I feel really, really chipper coming off that. You mentioned Joe Roberts had a kick. It was a hell of a kick that he had, because that was one where he was in second receiver off a set move, I think. He kicked long. Tommy Lewis chases it. The bounce just doesn't favor him, and it was an ugly bounce because it hit the ground and just shot straight up. Like he just didn't have a chance to get it. He timed it perfectly. If that bounces in any other way, Tommy Lewis is, on my money, he's under the sticks.
Yeah.
But instead, it gets taken by, is it Patterson, I think?
Yeah.
And that becomes a counterattack. That's the Magnus Bradbury try.
So
that's a 14-point swing at that point in my mind.
Yeah, because it was 14-0 at that point. We got 21-0 there, and Edinburgh
But
did not look like scoring
no,
at
there's the
all.
Vela try, so it would be 21-14 then. Yeah,
Was it?
yeah. Vela was
No,
the first try
21-7.
they had.
That was their second try. I'm
It
pretty
was
sure.
a second.
Yep.
Yeah, no, but they didn't look like they were doing anything really to threaten us. So I think, depending on how the first 10 minutes of the second half would have been slightly different, I think that one moment could have been game over. Obviously, this is pure speculation, but I think, considering the amount of boys we do have away, we got some injured as well. Obviously, I think Yori Badam would have, been on the bench for Gabe McDonald if he was fit. We do have an embarrassment of riches in the quality of players we do have, especially behind that first choice. Like, I know you've already said, it's stupidly exciting that this could be our second choice backline.
But yeah, the criticism of it's not even criticism, but like what's the word I'm looking for? Like the difference between our first choice backline and our second choice backline is literally age and cohesion. Like,
Yeah.
that's it.
One's international, one's club is basically.
Yeah.
Or
But one's academy,
which could easily become international at some point.
one's international, one's academy.
It's fair, but it's ridiculous. And obviously, one more boy we haven't mentioned yet, Johan Jones came on to make his debut. Well, he looked good when he came on. Fair play. He took every high ball that came his way. He looked solid, and it's making it more wrong every single time we try a new back three player out. Every time a back three player comes in for his debut, it's like, shit, this guy can play too. We're now up to what? 8 back three players that could really be contesting for the first team place. It's like, what are we going to do
to lock, please?
No,
I think Ellis Me 6'4". He could maybe do it.
Doable. Put him down as a maybe.
Yeah,
number 8.
20Ks.
Number 8 as a position is overrated. I say we start dropping them back as a second fullback, and we just have 4 players in the backfield. That's my plan.
Well, if New Zealand get their way, it won't be long. Then we'll just have a shit ton of centres and back rowers.
Centres and back rowers are pretty much the same anyway these days.
Exactly.
And hookers heading that way as well.
Otherwise, I feel like Carwyn Leggett-Jones in general, like really, really, really solid. I liked his tactical kick in. His kicking from deep. But I thought when he chose to kick, it was the right decision to make that kick. Execution wasn't always there, but the decision was the right decision in my book.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we know we like his low and hard kicks. Maybe he needs to have a bit of a chat with who's our kicking coach. Do we have a kicking coach? Probably Sneddon is probably the closest thing we've got to a kicking coach. If he's not actually named that, he is the only person that's ever played 10 in our coaching setup. Maybe that style of kick wasn't ideal for the charge down. Maybe he should have been looking for more, high and out rather than low and drilled. But it's hard to say whether or not the result would have been any different would the charge down happen, would it not? And obviously, Ranger kicking is something that we want from our 10, and he does bring that. That's probably maybe one thing he doesn't show at that type of kick as much. Obviously, he is better at that drilled one in behind.
He got ran out a lot in this game as well.
Yeah.
Made his tackles, though.
Yeah, 15 out of 17 tackles, 13 out of 15, something like that.
He was our 3rd highest tackler, I think. 3rd or 2nd highest tackler.
And that's Edinburgh going after him. They're like, oh, they've started an 18-year-old at 10, have they? We'll see about that. And he was...
And one of his missed tackles, I noticed it, was not like he was bounced off or something. He just went a little bit too low on a guy. He was properly going at him, properly going to chop him, but he just missed it by about, 10 centimeters. But it's like he's fronting up for it, and good on him, frankly.
Well, when he has got Sammy to learn off, is
Sam's a
it's what you want.
very low tackler though. If you look at Sam's like tackle, because Opta track above and below the hips, Sammy's just below the hips every single time. Sammy doesn't go high.
All
The thing is,
our backs rate really highly on that metric.
well, the thing is, especially for now, Kaz Carwin's generation, that should be the style of tackle that they're coming into. It should be legs, because all the way through the age grades, that's all they're allowed to do. It is like, I can't remember what age it goes up to now, but you're tackling below the waist for vast majority of your age grade rugby. So it's still a shock that obviously the professionals are allowed to do it higher, but the amateurs are not. But yeah, it's something we're probably going to see a lot more with it when the younger players start coming through now, where they've spent at least 5 years tackling that low. We are going to see it. Yeah, I'll be honest, that pass for Joe Roberts was back for the second. I was bang in line with me, perfect. I wouldn't even say he was aggressively flat. That was nowhere near forward in the
on the first time I watched it, I thought it was forward. Second time I watched it, I thought it was forward. Third time I watched it, I was like, oh no, it's actually spot on.
It's a banging pass. Fair play.
In my notes, I wrote, was the pass forward? Probably, but Mark was there and he says no. So I'm willing to defer to you on it.
Yeah, like banging line. Oh, lovely pass.
On the charge down, if you're playing 18s at fly half, 18-year-olds at fly half, that shit's going to happen.
Look, one thing I can say is I did see him in that little tunnel running out at the end, and he did not look bothered whatsoever. So, if it was bothering him, no one could bloody tell. Because he came out smiling and looking, happy as Larry, like. So, fair play to the kid. And, we should be protecting him, for situations like this. We've got to expect these mistakes to happen. And, you've also got the argument of, was it really a mistake? Could he have done anything else to avoid it? That's probably something that's come in the analysis today. Yeah. Because that is ultimately the game decider, 19-all at that point.
I'll say, I think he made, I think if you wanted to say, the three things that went maybe wrong for him, but I think they were the right choice. That kick is one of them. He made the right decision after another, not even another season, but after a couple games, that rather than a kick becomes a tuck, turn, and kick, because he knows that charge is coming with experience, doesn't he? That comes in time. The drop goal, really like that as a decision, didn't come off for him.
It was close though.
It was close.
It was a great option.
Yeah, fantastic option. And the third one, when he picks Tuapoloto's kick up off his laces, off his left boot, and then swings around in one motion and kicks it in the right, and it's off his right, and it's almost a 50-22. Again, just the bounce of the ball doesn't fall for him. Those were three. I mean, okay, the drop goal, not because that was halftime then, but that not 50-22 gives them a scrum, obviously, from where he kicks it, and the charge down.
Yeah. So,
but they were the right decision, is my point.
Yeah.
I think he made the right call.
Basically, those are experience. That is 100% experience. He will try those kicks. He will try to get every goddamn inch out of a kick he can, and this is the age for him to do that, to properly find his range. And he was a couple inches off, and obviously the charge down, he's not going to be used to having players chase after him that fast, that quick. So that is, that's a learning curve. So, great game for him overall.
And that charge down comes from as well. So was it Goosen who gets that? Patterson. So he kicks before that to Patterson from deep. And sometimes his kicking from deep, I think it shows that he's maybe not used to a back three that's as fast and as mobile as the previous levels he's been playing. Because he doesn't always find grass when he does that. That'll come in time as well. Because Goosen then has time to pick his kick and pick his run. Because there's no one challenging him once he gets that ball. And so there are a few moving parts in that charge down, but ultimately it's going to be experience. And I don't think I'd want him to play, like you said, I don't think I'd want him to play in any other way right now.
No, it's like he's going to be starting against Connacht. He's going to be starting against Zebra because even if Sammy is fit for Italy, I don't think there's any way that we play him the following week. You know, it just wouldn't make sense in my mind. At least, so he's got at least another 2 games pending Sammy's injury. So and first anyone starting their professional career, every single minute you're on the pitch is absolutely massive. For your first 1,000 minutes, it's every second of them is huge because you're learning so much all the time. And the more we can get there, more we can get out of him right now, the better.
Well, that kind of brings us onto it because with that defeat, the season's pretty much over. We're out of the cup, and we're not going to get in the playoffs now. So what do we do with the rest of the season? What do we do with this selection? Are we just going to try and play our best team every week and try and win games, or what? Because the other thing is, we talk about building for next year. We don't know if Nigel's sticking around yet.
No, I mean for me, for Connacht and Zebra,
players available,
players available, and obviously we're going for the win. Once those games are done and dusted, obviously we'll have a much clearer idea of what's going on. I'm really, really annoyed that we haven't played Harry Thomas off the bench in either of the last 2 games. And I know they can say, oh, Benetton, we were drawing, we were going for them, we wanted up. No, bullshit. You put the kid on. Like, I hate the fact that you have players on the bench, especially young players who have started a game this season and you're not playing them. It's the exact opposite of what we're doing with Carwin. We're giving Carwin all this faith, saying, look, this is your shirt. You're going out and you're doing it. We're basically telling Harry, oh, you're not good enough right now. You're just gonna injury cover. That's not the way to get the best out of young players. That's not the best how to get out of any player, really. If it was Kirby Mile, then 100% I could understand. But for a kid, it's just not the right move to make. Same as Gabe McDonald, the other end of the pitch. But not putting him on.
With Harry Thomas, the thing that worries me about is that means that we have 2 hookers in the squad.
Yeah,
like that's a worry. If they need to play him, he needs to have game time because it's very likely that Wales do something that breaks Elias. Something happens. If he's injured, then suddenly we're in the situation where Harry Thomas is going to be riding the pine for the rest of the season, and we're just going to milk as many minutes out of Marnus as we can before he's off to Munster. Like that doesn't sit right.
We are literally talking. We've got the way the games are structured now for the rest of the season. I mean, you probably could get away if we don't make the playoffs. Obviously, that is really up in the air. Like we have really low chances of getting there right now. But you could probably get away with playing Marnus every single game because obviously we've got a week off now. Then we'll have a 2-week break for Easter in 4 weeks time. So it's not as though he's going to be playing 10 games straight. I think it would be plausible for Marnus actually any player to do a full 80 in every single game for the rest of the season. But it's still not the right thing. If we come out of that Zebra game and the playoffs are 100% gone, and we will know at that point 100% gone, then quite honestly, I'd be starting Harry Thomas.
Yeah.
I'd start him every game. If Isaac Young is recovered from injury in time, I'd be chucking him a game or 2 as well. Just to, we got to blood these boys because as it stands right now, we have Ryan Elias, Harry Thomas, and Isaac Young on the books next season. There's no news of us signing another hooker. I'd be surprised if we're not in the market for another hooker. Realistically, we need another 2 if we're thinking Harry and Isaac are not at that level yet. So we've got to blood these boys. Same as Harry O'Connor. He needs a run of games to try and get back to where he was pre-injury level. Henry Thomas is not in the richest vein of form. Archer Holtz is a constant injury worry now. I mean, he seems to be back for a few games and then out for a couple of weeks for whatever reason. We we really need to work on this area. Same as Josh Morse on the other side. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but Alec Hepburn is, is off to Edinburgh. Like it's unofficially official. For if you talk to anyone in and around the north. So Josh Morse is another one that needs to be playing as many games as they can. And on that note, I know I've championed Sock quite a bit, but it's quite clear if you're a young player in that traveling reserve, that third, whatever position you are, if you were literally number 24 to 30, whatever it is on a match day, and you're not getting a minute, your development absolutely tanks. Because don't get me wrong, Josh Morse always had the higher ceiling, but Sock was comfortably ahead of him last year. And we've seen Morse absolutely skyrocket and Sock do meh. So, really need another, probably a same age range as Hepburn to act as our travelling reserve. Let Sock go play with Quins or Drovers, whatever you want to chuck him. And let these boys play. That's the main thing that they need. If we want them to succeed, and we know they're going to be on the books, like Sock signed a new contract for last season, so we know he's here next season.
But that's for me, that's what this season turns into. Because like you're saying, mathematically, it is possible to still make the playoffs. A lot of things need to go a certain way, which makes it very unlikely. But you're right. If the option is there, then you have to go out of hammer and tongs. So I agree with you on that. There's also other question marks like it's surely very unlikely that Fletcher Anderson is going to be here into next season, you would assume. So where's our recruitment coming in 8? But when you think about young guys like Harry Thomas, this should be the time that they get game time. Realistically, we know that Marnus isn't going to be around next season. So yes, you can get your value off his contract and you can play him a lot. But if he goes and you're just left with a vacant position at 2 or 16, like you haven't actually used him properly as a resource. And then so for me, it's just like this is almost preseason now. Like this is building for next year.
Yeah. I would like to see, again, pending these 2 results, I would like to see us pull in Will Evans, Ocean Williams, possibly Dom Kossuth, if number 8 is going to really be an issue, because he is a man. Like I know Ocean Williams can cover 6'8", but he is more primarily a 6, at least from what I've seen so far.
Whatever happened to Ben Williams?
He's still playing with Quins. He's still doing a job at 7.
He started games for us at 8 last season.
Was it last season or the season before?
Yeah. Oh,
it was a Teddy. Before. Season before. It was a Teddy Leatherbarrow season.
Carwyn is linked to Biarritz.
Yeah.
We're getting back. If we're losing Fletch, get Carwyn back. What are we doing, boys? Come on. Anyway, so yeah.
Is what it is.
What do you think, though, Hugh? You didn't say your opinion. What does it mean from here on out?
No, I agree with you. You play your strongest team for the derbies, and then everything else is dropping 2 or 3 boys in as and when. Set them up to succeed. Don't put out the drovers. Put out a decent enough team. But there's no, if you've got nothing to play for, there's no point just playing the strongest team every week. I know we haven't got a massive squad, so as in terms of second rows, no, guess what boys you're playing. But it's I just agree with what you guys have said. To be honest, just on transfers, none of the Welsh regions. The only rumour that's doing anything is Christchurch to Cardiff. There are no transfer rumours for any others. Like Dragons are losing Tinas De Beer potentially. A lot of their players are on short-term deals anyway.
They should sign. They should sign Johan. They could actually do something with him, I would say.
Johan Lloyd?
Yeah.
He's sat on the bench at Cardiff these days. Played wing for them. His last start was on the wing.
Yeah, he should go to Newport. But you can't blame anyone with the environment around at the moment and the tone of everything. But if I was going to set a goal for the end of the season, I do want to be the best of the rest. If we can't make it up to 8th, I do want to see us around 9th and 10th. And I think it's going to be a big ask for the Ospreys to make it into the top 8. Dragons, they're in more or less the same situation as we are.
If you look at who's in that top 8 now, Bulls are 8th, and Bulls are only going up. So you're asking,
unless they come play us, when they come play us, I should say.
Yeah, even considering their guaranteed loss against us. So if you just look at the URC table, obviously, Glasgow ain't going anywhere, Leinster ain't going anywhere. Cardiff look like they've got it done, 40 points. They had to get that win against Leinster. They got it. Munster aren't dropping out of the top 8. They've been pretty average last few games, but they're not dropping out of the top 8. Stormers are going to pick up enough wins to get there. Ulster are genuinely decent, and Lions and Bulls. So you're like, okay, who's dropping out? And yes, it's only a 1 point difference between Bulls and Ospreys. The Bulls have got a game in hands, and by the way, they've just won 4 games in a row. So
yeah. They've completely flipped the script for their own season, which isn't great.
And you got the Sharks down in the bottom half of the table as well. So the thing is, we've got a game in hand over Dragons, but we are 4 points behind them now. Honestly, being brutally honest, it feels like we're in a race not to be bottom Welsh team.
And do a JD2 handoff, Hugh. There you go.
Oh, I like Fuzzy Hugh.
fuzzy warm Hugh.
There's something up with my tripod stand where it gradually drops. So when you get the silver there, that's the top of my laptop. It gradually drops.
It's getting sleepy.
Yeah,
it's drifting off. I think I want to be above the Dragons. Although to be fair, like there's no shame I think in being below any of the regions, particularly this season. Like everyone except us has been sort of outperforming. It feels like, I just don't want to come bottom of the table. That's
we're not bottom currently, and we play Zebra in 2 games
at home.
At home, I'm going to be there.
You are going? Yay!
Yeah, the hotel's booked.
Best pay for your ticket.
Ooh. I was going to ask where you're staying, but we'll do that.
I'm going to avoid paying for my ticket at all costs, but if I have to,
so you see this, people. He will buy his Scarlets merch off Vinted, not from the club, and he will not pay for a ticket.
I'll go in the club shop when I'm there. I'll go in the club shop and I'll buy something, and I'll buy a hot dog and I'll buy a drink. I'll do all the things.
You buy a crepe as well. Crepes are nice.
I'll buy a crepe. Okay, yeah. I promise to buy a crepe. It's ladies' night as well. That's why I'm going.
Ooh, ladies' night.
The joke. That was a joke.
I don't think the missus are going to be happy with that one, but wedding off. Okay. Are we done with this? Do we have anyone else to talk about?
No.
I'm looking forward to next
community for a full hour again.
I'm just looking forward to next season where we get the debate when it's okay. So yeah, Sammy's playing really well. Oh, Carmen Legend Jones is playing well. Which one of them can we put at 12?
Sammy first, please. I don't want to see 5'8" Karen Legger Jones at 12.
It's going to happen now, Carwin. It's going to happen now, Matt. You've by reacting to that and taking it as a serious point, you have willed it into being.
I can imagine it's going to be him and Max Page in the center, average height 5'9", average weight like 85 kilos. They're gonna have a fun day.
Yeah, okay. Defense will be terrible. Attack will be great.
It will be. Imagine the space he'll put Max in. He'll probably score like 5 tries that day. It'll be awesome. Okay. Are we ready? Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, and share. Can we all see?
It's loading.
Yeah. There it is.
Yay, happy days. Okay, so let's run through this nice and quick. So still cup time in the SRC. So in the cup semi-final, we had Llandovery at home to Pontypool. Honestly, this game should have been a lot more comfortable than what it was. Drove us with 23-10 up, coming into the past the hour mark. Pontypool fought back 2 rapid tries, 24-23. And nerves of steel, Johan Hughes slotted the penalty to give Llandovery the lead and go into the cup final for, I want to say, the 3rd successive year. Possibly.
This is my question. I've got in my head that Drovers are on for the 4-peat, aren't they?
I'd have to double check.
They did the double, and then I thought they won it last year as well.
Okay. I can't really check because I'm on the wrong device. And I don't really want to
What am I searching?
No, I've got it on by ear, but so give me a minute. But the only player we had represented was Tian Sparrow. So, me. So let's have a look. Llandovery beat. Oh, Christ, I haven't got it. Why don't I have it? We won the 2023 Premiership Cup winner. Was it Llandovery? Can you look for it? You're
Yeah,
looking
I'm
for
doing
it.
it now. Cup.
So there was a plate semi-final involving Carmarthen Quins where they travelled to Swansea, Gowerton. They travelled to Gowerton to play this game for reasons. Quite a few boys involved in this one. So we had Ben Williams, Roger Lewis, Thomas Williams in the starting 15. Huge shout out to debutante and Cameron Legger-Jones' favourite roommate, Hudson Nevin, for making his debut. Loosehead Hudson Nevin, big boy as well, 6'2", 113 plus kilos. So, still a schoolboy. He's bringing the weight, and he's currently in the under-20 squad.
He's a schoolboy at 113 kilos, 6'2". Wow.
Yeah.
Can we get him fast-tracked?
Beast. I'll have a see if I can shout out to his old man Tom Nevin. I've been speaking to him a bit. Got some footage of his 2 scrums on this game when he came on. Looks powerful, the boy does. Fair play to him. And also Keanu Evans continuing his conversion to hooker. And if you're watching this on video, you can see that Swansea did win this game 21-5, courtesy of a Matt Prothero hat-trick. But depending on who you ask or what you read, Quins lost both halfbacks within, I've had reports of the first 10 minutes, the first 20 and the first 30. So I'm going to say in the middle. So they lost both halfbacks within 15 minutes. And for those you already know, they were already on their third choice, 10, and they've only got 2 scrum halves. So very, very hard job. The fact that they kept it, 3 tries to 1, this scoreline, considering we had no halfbacks, was absolutely brilliant. We play in a 13 at 9 and a 9 at 10. This is, that's how we went. So, great result from boys. I haven't actually filled in the away.
I'll tell you what,
team.
this is ungoogleable. This stuff. It's a nightmare trying to find this out. But I believe that the 2023 winners, the finals between Cardiff and Newport.
Okay.
But I believe that the Drovers are looking for the 3-peat, because I believe the Drovers won in 2024, 2025.
Yeah. And they're going to win again against a team that everybody hates. So the game this is going to be, and we learned today, so 5 days before the final, we learned that the game is going to be at Cap, and it's going to be a 5:30 kickoff. Llandovery against Newport. Newport, the team that screwed Quins in the first round and tried to screw, and actually probably successfully did screw Ebbw Vale in the semi-final. You boys already know that. They, obviously, there's only short notice for these semi-final games anyway, but with help from the WRU, they changed the date of the game from the Saturday to the Sunday for nefarious reasons. They couldn't get people to replace football posts for rugby ones within 24 hours. Yeah, great reason for that. But no one told Ebbw Vale. They found out on the Tuesday evening through Newport socials. So, that's great.
This feels like the sort of stuff that we should be throwing out the word allegedly in a few times.
Well, in terms of the Quins, the game board actually came out and said the game should be replayed. So, that's a fact. End of. There's no way the game board, say a game should be played if they don't believe things have happened. And, in terms of changing the rugby post over to football post to rugby posts, because you don't have the men to do it, call the team you play in, see if they can help. That's the first point of call. You find ways around it.
That's very good advice.
You don't go to the WIU without contacting them in the first place to say you're looking to change the game.
Is there a podcast we can listen to get all of this in more in depth?
There is an SRC podcast. He'll probably be coming out late Wednesday evening, Thursday morning. You'll probably hear a lot more about that. Don't get me wrong, we're going to stay as neutral as we can, but there's probably going to be a fair bit of Newport bashing in this episode. just because the two teams they have screwed over are Carmarthen Quins and Mr. Rob Reese's Ebbw So there's going to be a fun one for Newport fans to listen to. Obviously, they shouldn't be listening to this, but they're fans from other regions, so of course they're listening to Scarlet stuff. Llandovery v Newport at Cap, 5:30 kickoff. It's a double header that day. The plate final is on at 2:30, £15 a ticket. So get down to great games of rugby. Rapid fire now. Okay, in the Premiership, Narberth winning 30-19 away to Cardiff Med. Huge win for them. Fletchley Wanderers 12-33 loss at home to Bather. Bather are on absolute fire this year.
The Ones have had a tough season, haven't they?
Ones have had a tough season. They are down in that relegation battle, but I'm hoping I think they're just above it. They'll come through. They'll come through strong and they'll go on to bigger and better things. Fixtures this week, Ones are travelling to Bargoed. Llangennych back in action at home to Cardiff Met. If Narberth can do it away, Llangennych should do it at home. And Narberth at home to Merthyr. That's a tough one. Championship West, Amford winning 34-10 at home to Gleneath. Aberystwyth going down 43-21 away to Bonamine. Crymych getting the first win of the season, 25-24 at home to Tata. Well done, boys. And Newcastle Emlyn going down 45-29 away to Trebanos. This week we got Aberystwyth at home to Ammanford, Crymych travelling to Gosainan, and Newcastle Emlyn hosting Dunvant. Into One West, Kidwelly 19, Vellenvoll 18, Buddyport 33-15 winners away to St. Clair's, Larne taking a battering 54-17 away to Swansea Uplands, Lampeter beating Tenby 26-24 away, and Hendy going down 31-35 at home to Wynarlythe. Fixtures this week, we got Lampeter at home to Tenby and Wynarlythe at home to Swansea Uplands. So I do have to point out now that from all Division West and down, all these leagues should be finished now. If you look at the WIU scheduling from last summer, the last round of league fixtures for these divisions was 28th of February. So I guess the leagues are over now. Not as if teams have still got in excess of 5, 6, 7, 8 games to play. I'm not bitter at all by there. So down into 2 West and some massive, massive wins here. So start off with the biggest of them all. Aberaeron 114-0 winners away to Betos. Betos are the bottom team. You kind of seen a year, and Aberaeron, I believe, are now up into 3rd. So destined for promotion if they can come through some of their tougher fixtures against Lacha. Fishguard 30-19 winners at home to Pencloud. Lacha winning 33-27 at home to Nancaredig. The other big result, 2nd place Pontedilais at the time, and 3rd place Carmarthen Athletic. 38-0 to the Athletic, just smashing Pringles Bont to pieces, absolutely destroyed them, and they are now comfortably in 2nd, and I think they're only 7 or 8 points away from securing promotion, which is absolutely brilliant. Last game, Whitland 7 to Christ 26. Fixture this week, we've got Carmarthen Athletic at home to Whitland, Betos travelling to Fishguard, and another May, Pontedilais at home to Pencloud. 2 West Central, Brynaman 42-6 winners at home to South Gower. They will be travelling to Puthcall this week. Over to 3 West now. Most games postponed. Hartford West winning 57-0 away to Trimsaran. Tumble winning 57-8 at home to Milford. Fixtures on Saturday. Hartford West at home to Nail at Llandilo hosting Cardigan. 4 West A. Newcastle Emlyn Draghi 50-10 winners at home to Llanybudder. Pembroke to Harlequins 29-19 away to Llangwm. Pembroke 20-32 loss at home to Ponteberem, and St David's 27-14 win at home against Tyrone Crymych. Newcastle Emlyn Draghi are hosting Pembroke Harlequins. Llanybudder hosting Tenby Athletic. Llangwm travelling to Pembroke, and St David's travelling to Tyrone Crymych. Over into 4 West B. Another postponed game in here. So we've got Binya 41-35 winners against Pennebank. Kevin Nathan losing 43-0 at home to Llangadog. Pantavannan taking a battering 78-19 away to Fall Bay. Tregaron winning 33-5 at home to Pont Yates. Saturday's games, we got Fall Bay at home to Pennebank. Tregaron travelling to Llanderby, and Pont Yates hosting Llangadog. Over in the women's games, Buddyport's match away to Annesty was postponed. Buddyport will now be hosting Carnarvon in the Premiership on Saturday. Championship, Haverfordwest 37-12 winners away to Granada. Only game the win ahead. Haverfordwest v Lampeter this weekend. No games to speak of in West Wales division. Pembroke v Tumble on this weekend. Quickly into the youth levels, because it is the WIU Cup. These are all quarter-final games. So Army United winning 13-0 at home to St Albans. Into the play at Furness, 56-0 at home to Caerleon. Newcastle Emlyn 23-22 winners away to St Gened. St Clears 57-22 winners at home to Loughard. Down in the play at Vellenvold 24-10 away to Gilvercoch. Pennebank losing 36-0 away to Penalta, and Lampeter winning 23-22 away to Cumbrawn in the Shield. So we got, what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams playing quarterfinal games. 6 have made it through. We've got 3 semi-finalists in the plate competition. So we're going strong at youth level, boys. We're going strong. That brings the community game, unfortunately, to an end. Oof. It's over, boys. How are we feeling?
Punch drunk.
Refreshed.
Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at whose little agenda here. Other news.
It's so diminutive. It took Hugh's little agenda, you don't approve. It's the only thing that keeps you on the straight and narrow, and you know it.
Yeah, I've been kind of mean to Hugh. I made fun of one of his draw-ins earlier in the group chat as well. So I'm sorry. The loving will come back from the neutralness will come back in tomorrow.
To be fair, you focused too much on the win-loss-draw thing that he drew on the table. You ignored the fact that he recreated the table so accurately before that.
Yeah, but I think that was like a chat GPT job. I don't think he done much.
Sorry, this is only for us. We're talking about the group chat now. Sorry.
Yeah, we are going a bit beyond. So other news, Wayne Pivac will be back in the Scarlets League next season with Benetton, obviously much, much better than Cornel Van Zyl, who's head coach at Cardiff, because, obviously he couldn't get the job. But Pivac on a 2+2 at Benetton. And I'm scared, knowing Benetton's budget, knowing how good they can play right now, and knowing how good Pivac is in a club system. I'm scared. I don't think it would be too far-fetched to say that we could see Benetton breaking top 4 within the next couple of years.
I think that's very likely.
Yeah, I think they probably should be there already, to be honest. I think they've been underperforming for a long time. And yeah, I think it's a great appointment for them. And I think the Benetton's a job just waiting for someone to do well in. It's a great place to go and live. It's an affluent area, rugby mad, and like you say, it's a club with budget and ambition. You're going to have the majority of the Italy squad in there. You're going to have money for overseas signings. I think I don't know if he'll make an immediate impact, but I think he's going to make an impact.
He's already got some really good players in that squad that he can use to play in the style that he wants, which is good. But when you think about, they are bringing in, and you've kind of, I forget this. I think a lot of people forget this. You are bringing in a Six Nations winning coach. Now, how Wales won that Six Nations, that's a point for conversation another day.
Yeah, he does Grand Slam. I agree.
Getting more wins than anybody else. Sorry, everybody else was shitter than us.
We were. It was a Grand Slam for 4 games in 78 minutes. It was great. Probably
I bought the commemorative jersey from that campaign because I could never let it go. So I have and it's perfect, right, for the Jam Slam, because the jersey is not designed to have the pencampwyr put across the chest, so it irritates the nipple when you wear it, which is the perfect metaphor for the tournament that it's commemorating.
Wow, that's deep stuff. That's real deep.
You have to put a plaster on it before you put it on. He's going to be great, and I am concerned for us. However, I think for Benetton, for Italian rugby, this is one of the best signings they could have brought in, I think. And I'm kind of surprised when you list all of the benefits for coaching Benetton. I'm kind of surprised that there aren't more high quality, high caliber international coaches sort of clamoring for that sort of position. You would have thought someone like Razor would have been a really good fit for something like that.
Yeah.
Bring him up north.
I mean, I think, obviously Benetton and Zebra are possibly the only 2 clubs in world rugby that you can actually go and build a world-class squad, because I don't think there are many restrictions.
That's not what Zebra's role is.
No, but there's no other restrictions that, Ireland or Scotland or Wales or England or France face in terms of squad makeup and things of that nature. We've all got, Christ, there's arguments now about obviously lowering the number of NWQs. We've already got to go through, obviously, the WIU to get a sign off on that. So they are the only teams in World Rugby where they're playing a good enough quality to attract world class players. They're one of the few clubs that will get the budget to do that. It's scary. It's a really, really scary product. Like, I can see the likes of Capwatsu and Garbisi, being brought back in, over the next year or so.
Not Capwatsu.
I don't think so.
Not Capwatsu. Garbisi, 100%, because Toulon are chucking him anyway. So he's going. If someone wants him, he's available.
So what's the Italian for Galacticos? Because that feels like what you're starting to. Yeah, I'm guessing it's Galacticos.
It's 100% a possibility. I'm probably one of the only teams you can actually make a true Galacticos with.
In the modern day, it's exciting. I mean, Newcastle are going to try, but like this, I'm genuinely. We talk about how frustrating it is, obviously, for us right now in the season, but like looking at the table right now, if you're a neutral and you enjoy just watching the league, I think this has been a really entertaining season. It's been a really good season for the URC, and I think bringing someone like Pivac back into it, because now we're the only thing that's really missing is having the Italians be competitive again this season.
Yeah, I mean, they have been not as competitive as they have been in the past, but they've still been putting up fights. So you've brought up Newcastle now. Well, someone did. Does Stephen Jones go back to Benetton with Wayne Pivac? Go back to Wayne Pivac at Benetton? I think that's on the table.
Give him Zebra. Give Stephen Jones the head coaching job at Zebra.
I don't know. He'd probably go for it, considering. But no, that's a prospect people need to. I think could be in a reality as well.
How long did they sign him for? Did they release the details on that?
I think it was. I
don't really know what he's doing. I don't know if he's just the attack coach, because since he's gone there, I haven't heard anything about him or from him.
I would imagine it's all keeping very quiet until Gregor rocks up, and then everything's going to fall into place. But until then, it feels like they're in a little bit of a holding pattern.
Well, if Gregor's there, then obviously Javan Sebastian's going to end up there, isn't he? Because he just pulls him up from Wales whenever he wants. He's already done it twice. He's probably going to do it a third time.
As I have said previously, I believe that the reality where Stephen Jones becomes Scarlets head coach and the reality we are living in is the same reality. So something's going to have to happen for that to work out somehow.
Are you suggesting we purchase Benetton and try and wind the two clubs into a single?
If we buy lots of Benetton clothing, he'll become confused and end up here by mistake.
Are you hoping he's red green colorblind?
I've tried to buy Benetton jerseys on multiple occasions. You can never find them. Quite often you'll go on and you'll search like Benetton rugby jersey, and something that will look like exactly what you want comes up, and it's not. But it's a women's thing. It's just a women's top that they sell in their shop. Yeah, I know the women's rugby jerseys exist, Mark, but that's not what.
That is an Italian women's rugby jersey as well.
It is.
Yeah. So you're hoping that Stephen Jones, in the same way that you struggle to find a Benetton jersey, will struggle to find his Benetton contract, and then out of frustration will become the head coach of the Scarlets.
Yes.
I think it's about as likely as anything else happening.
Is going to happen.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility, but he's going to want his own team, really.
Who is even his own team? What, Johan Cunningham? We're bringing back.
I don't know, but if you go
Byron Hayward,
if you're going for your first head coach role, you've got to have people around you that you trust. I mean,
they probably keep Dwayne. Dwayne doesn't have to leave. Just keep Dwayne. Just bring Stephen instead, as well.
Stephen and for Nige. I don't think it will happen, but no. I think Stephen will need to have a head coach role before Scarlets. I think once bitten, twice shy sort of thing.
I don't imagine Stephen sticking around at Newcastle with Gregor coming in after the World Cup. So I think that's the window. If we are truly on board with and I do have to say, I do agree with you. I do believe that his trajectory ultimately is coming back to Claffey. I think you have to watch how Newcastle handle integrating Gregor into the system, because he's obviously already part-time coaching or something down there. So is Stephen Jones in there kind of keeping everything together? Is he a link there? Is he filling in basically until that happens?
So we have gone well off topic here, but
No, this is within remit. We're a Newcastle Red Bulls podcast / Scotland / Benetton fancast.
Yeah. So what you're saying is Stephen Jones is kind of interim head coach. What he's doing right now, he shows he does a good job over the next 18 months, and then Scarlets, look, I've done a head coach job. You can hire me now, and that's how it all pans out.
And if that's how I'm trying to sell it to Hugh, yes, I'm not 100.
To me, this whole thing was my idea.
No, it's just what I'm saying. If I'm trying to convince you that I'm on your side with this, which I am on your side, I don't know why I'm using words like convince and plan and idea.
And plotting and overthrowing and a coup.
You need to come closer to the mic. We can't hear you.
So not to be on my side would be mental in this scenario.
That is true. Everyone, I love Stephen Jones. I would want him to, I would desperately love him to come back. But I think that's the most likely situation. I'm going to look up and see how Newcastle are actually listing him. Castellnewith.com does not take me anywhere. So, yeah.
It should.
By the time he's done with them, they will be Castellnewith.
All right, then. Do we have anything else to discuss before shooting off, boys?
Connacht, no? Are we talking about Connacht?
No. We'll be back with you after the Connacht game. It's not for how many weeks now?
2.
2.
Yeah, no.
So we'll beat Connacht comfortably because we're just that good. And Carwyn Legger-Jones has played an extra 80 minutes, so he's now almost international level.
Carwyn Legger-Jones, after this week, has essentially increased his minutes by 100% for the Scarlets.
Almost. He's had a few minutes off the bench now. Come on.
A few.
Well, boys, thanks for chatting shit for an obscene amount of time. Listeners who made it this far, please like, share, subscribe, comment, interact, talk to us about this jersey thing that we're all confused about. Tell us we're shit, tell us you'd agree with us, whatever. It'll be fun. Hype, look at the shop if you're on YouTube or whatever. And we'll do it all again next week. Thank you, boys, and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Nearly home. Hey, Reba here with Realtor.com. Picking the wrong agent to sell your home could cost you time and money. That's why smart sellers compare agents first with Real Choice Selling. Realtor.com lets you compare sales history, commissions, and experience so you can find the best agent for your home. Save yourself the headaches. Find the right agent and sell smart. Make it real with Realtor.com.